Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to do another ranking video. Much to my surprise, you guys actually ended up enjoying the video where I ended up ranking all of the Star Wars movies and didn't disagree with me quite as much as I thought, which was a little surprising. I thought my takes were a little hotter than apparently they were. Today, we are going to attempt to rank every single Star Wars game there is. Now, preface, obviously, I've not played every single Star Wars game that ever was or ever will be because I'm looking at a list of them right now. And a lot of them probably predate my birth, and I haven't played those. Now, since I have probably played half of these, and most of the ones that are, of main focus today, we're still gonna do this video. I have added two categories to the bottom of the list, which is haven't played, but would like to play or want to play, and then just haven't played. Now, if you enjoyed this video or you enjoyed this type of video where I go through and rank things, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe and the notification bell so you get notifications for new videos like this. Also, let me know down in the comments, do you agree with my rankings on any of the games that we have both mutually played? And if there's anything in the haven't played sections of this that you think that I really should play, that you think have aged well, to modern day, let me know, and I might play those at a future time, maybe even live stream them. All right, so I think the first thing we're going to do is we're gonna knock out a good portion of these haven't played, because a lot of these I've never even actually heard of before. All right, so obviously the first one is a Star Wars game for mobile, and it looks like I've played Star Wars Angry Birds. This looks like a newer version of it. I haven't played it, and I have no interest in it. Battlefront Elite Squadron. I looked this up. Apparently this was a Star Wars Battlefront game for the Nintendo DS. If we didn't already have like 15 other Star Wars Battlefronts, or maybe if I was a kid and I actually had a DS, I might have been interested in that, but now we're in the haven't played and not really looking forward to it. Was that a good Battlefront game? Again, let me know down in the comments below. Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds Clone Campaigns. I feel like I don't know this game, but I think I've heard it's supposed to be like Command and Conquer. No, because that's Empire at War, which I have played. I'm not familiar with this one, but I feel like I've heard things about it, and I've heard decent things. I'm gonna put this having nothing other than like the faint memory of someone saying like it was good. I'll put that in the want to play. Also, it's the Clone Wars. Like, who doesn't love the Clone Wars? Star Wars Dark Forces. I played about 3 minutes of it. We're gonna classify that as an I have played. Star Wars Demolition. I can't read the whole thing. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. And from the artwork, it looks like it predates my birth. Okay, Star Wars Flight of the Falcon. Oh, I'm conflicted on this one. On do we put it into the haven't played or haven't played and want to play? Because here's the thing. It's a Game Boy Advance game. There are, outside of like Pokemon and Mario and some of the staples for Nintendo, a lot of Game Boy Advance games did not age well. Like I'm thinking back to like, I had a James Bond game, James Bond Everything or Nothing on Game Boy Advance, and it was so bad. Like I played it on PS2 and the Game Boy version of it was so bad. So most Game Boy games did not age well. I'm going to put it in just the haven't played. If you play this and it's really good, let me know. Star Wars Jedi Arena. Haven't even heard of it. Again, looking from the box art, it very well could predate my death. My death. Oh, yikes. Hopefully that's not foreshadowing. It predated my birth. The Jedi Knight games, we'll come back to, we'll talk about those later. Jedi Power Battles. Looks like that's like late 90s because you've got Obi-Wan and I think that's maybe Qui-Gon. I'm not really sure. Haven't played it. Star Wars. Star Wars Kinect. I didn't have an Xbox 360. So I haven't played it and I can't play it. Like I don't have an Xbox 360. I have no idea what this is. Star Wars Lucasfilm series. It's a Star Wars game. It looks old. I have not played it. All right, we get into the Star Wars Lego games. Here's the thing. I feel like if you've played a Star Wars Lego game, you've played the Star Wars Lego games. So I'm going to make the probably incorrect choice of saying I've only played one, which is Star Wars 2, the original trilogy. I played this on the PlayStation Portable, the PSP, when I was in high school. I'm going to say because I've played this one, I've essentially played all of them. If that is an unfair assessment, let me know down in the comments, but I'm gonna rate them all roughly the same. Star Wars Masters. I can't, again, here, let's zoom in to see if we can read these a little bit better. Star Wars Masters of the, I don't have any idea. I don't want to play that game. That looks old. No, I'm sorry. Star Wars Monopoly. Here's the thing is I've got a buddy who's addicted to Monopoly. Like he owns custom Monopoly boards. CD-ROM edition, it is a video game. Like I might play this like with him, but I'm never playing this on my own. And I'm probably not actually finishing the game because it's Monopoly and I don't hate myself. We'll put that in the want to play though. Star Wars Mysteries of the Sith. I mean, there's a Rancor on the cover. That's pretty cool. But in general, it still just looks like kind of old. And a lot of older games like that probably didn't age very well. Star Wars The New Droid Army. Again, Game Boy Advance. It's got Wat Tambor on the front. Why does it have Wat Tambor? Why did you pick the guy that has like 3 lines in the entire movie of Episode 2? Why did you pick him as the front for the New Droid Army? No one even knew what his name was, I bet. Sorry, Anakin. I just said that I love the Clone Wars and stuff, but I'm gonna say no, mostly because it's Game Boy Advance stuff. All right, let's keep going. Rebel Assault 3. It looks old. You're gonna hear me say that a lot. If it looks old, I'm probably not interested in it, and that looks old. It's gonna be a no. Now, that being said, I'm a sucker for a good flight sim. I love flight-based games. So Star Wars Rogue Leader and Rogue Squadron 100% are going into my want to play section. Return of the Jedi. It looks like it's Star Wars, a Death Star battle. Hold on. No, we're gonna, maybe like we do a stream where I go through and just play all of these games that are in the want to play section, and we just see if they're actually any good. Keep going on. Shadows of the Empire. I know that's Dash Rendar, just from playing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I've never played this game. I'm pretty sure it's like a pre-Chad game, or at least it's real young Chad before he was playing video games. We're gonna put that in the haven't played. Sorry, I love Dash Rendar in Galaxy of Heroes, but I don't think I'm gonna pick up his game. Star Wars The Clone Wars. It's Nintendo DS. No thank you. Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. That looks like it's from the early 90s. That's gonna be a no. Star Wars The Clone Wars on PlayStation 2. That sounds interesting. I'll put that in the would play section. X-Wing Alliance. Absolutely would play. Yoda Stories. Would not play. The Battle for Naboo. I see an N1 Starfighter, but it also, the artwork looks really bad. Like, that artwork looks really bad. As much as I love a good flight game, we're gonna put that in the haven't played section. All right. I actually own this game. I got it whenever I bought Battlefront 2. I think like the new Battlefront 2, it came with a bunch of different games, and I've never actually played Bounty Hunter because I feel like the first level, it puts you into like the Geonosian arena. It puts you into some sort of arena. And I feel like I just died and I was like, I'm good. But maybe this merits playing. So I'm gonna put that in the would play just because I actually own it and I should probably try it. The Star Wars chess. It's just chess, right? I haven't played it, but it's just chess. The chess phase of my life has passed, but like maybe I would play it. It could be kind of fun. I'll put that in the would play section. Star Wars Droid Works. I have never heard of this before. Design and destroy, outsmart the evil empire. Interesting. So you build droids? Like, I could get behind that. I would play that. I would give that a try. That earns its way up there. Episode 2 of Attack of the Clones. Didn't we already, the New Droid Army, man, they were milking Attack of the Clones. They were straight up milking Attack of the Clones on Game Boy Advance. Sorry. That's gonna be a no for me though, dog. Let's see, Obi-Wan's Adventures. I am a sucker for a good prequel game, but it's the Game Boy Color. I got a feeling that didn't age particularly well. No, thank you. Star Wars Force Commander. I'm gonna say no. I feel like that was probably, I feel like for some reason, this is gonna be the one that if people played this when they were kids, they're gonna be like, that was the best game ever and you just crapped all over my favorite game. I'm sorry if I just did that. All right. Let's see, Star Wars Obi-Wan, have not played. It looks like it's an original Xbox game. That means it's probably on the same tier as Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which I think is on here too somewhere. And I've not played that either, but it also looks not great. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw that down here. Star Wars Jedi Starfighter, I think, I haven't played this one, but I would. Again, it's a flight simulator game, so I'm all for those. Star Wars Rebellion, unfamiliar, not interested. Super Bombad Racing. Boy, does that look like, here's the thing. I've played Racer, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Is Bombad Racing gonna be good? Like, it looks pretty darn silly. Maybe it's really darn silly and it's gonna be fun. Okay, we'll put that into the maybe tier. Put that into maybe, we'll try that. Man, they milked the Clone Wars too, didn't they? Damn. On the Nintendo Wii, no thank you. That's basically dead. Republic Heroes. I don't know what that was on. The artwork has me kind of like maybe. I'm gonna put that as the maybe though. I'm gonna put that as a maybe. And then there's gonna be people who played this on the Wii and they're gonna be like, man, you swapped those. This one was really good and this one was really bad. Again, tell me. I'm going off of the box art at this point. Game Boy Advance, black and white, no thank you. X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, would absolutely try. Absolutely would try that. Again, if you're sensing a theme, if it's flight-based, there's a good chance I'll try it. Star Wars Trilogy Arcade, no. Return of the Jedi on Super Nintendo, no. Empire Strikes Back on Super Nintendo, no. Episode 4 on Super Nintendo, no. Galactic Battlegrounds, no thank you. And then Lethal Alliance, I'm not familiar with this game. We're gonna put that in no. Rebel Assault, no. TIE Fighter, ooh, that sounds kind of cool. Yeah, we'll put that in the would try. I would try that, even though it looks hella old. Flight simulators, I feel like flight simulators in video games aged better than non-flight simulators. I don't know if that's true or not, but I feel like if you watch gameplay, like it was fly an aircraft and shoot things. Like that was kind of hard to mess up. So I don't know, but I feel like the land mechanics of like combat, like I've played a lot of some of these older games and it's just like, no, thank you. All right, Rebel Strike Rogue Squadron, no thank you. And I think I've seen enough gameplay of the Phantom Menace to, I believe, make a determination on it, even though I have not played it. Vader, I can't tell what that is, but that looks kind of dope. We're gonna throw that into the would play. And then finally we have X-Wing. Again, would play. It's a flight game. I would be willing to try it no matter how old it is, probably, for the most part. There are exceptions. All right, we are now left with 3, 6, 9, 12, 12, 24. Okay, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, we've got a few. We've got a few games now that we can go through. There are still a few of these that I haven't played, but I'm going to rank them because I feel like I probably still can. All right, so let's get started. Star Wars Angry Birds. That's gonna be D tier. And I don't think that's one of those instances where it's like, I haven't played it since I had an iPod Touch back in high school or whenever it came out. Here's the thing is I downloaded on my iPhone Angry Birds like, I don't know, a few months ago, a year ago maybe, to like, was that game actually good? And the answer is no. The game was not. So Star Wars Angry Birds, that's out. I'm sorry. All right, let's talk about Jedi Fallen Order. So Jedi Fallen Order, it was not the game for me. I did not love it, but I recognize that it's a good game. The problem for me was I didn't love the platformy bits. What I wanted from Star Wars Jedi, whatever this is, Jedi Fallen Order, is I wanted Star Wars Dark Souls. And I kind of got that, but I got Star Wars Dark Souls with just a bunch of platforming involved. So like, I know that a lot of people like it. I'm gonna put it in A tier, even though for me personally, it's probably more like a C tier game just because I never finished it and I don't know that I ever will. Dark Forces didn't age well, D tier. Force Unleashed 2. Here's the thing. I played this when I was a child. Like, and I say child, I was like a teenager when I played this. I have no recollection of it at all. I think I liked it less than the original one. I have very little remembrance of the original one either. I'm gonna put it at C tier just because I don't actually remember it. All right, let's get on to the Kyle Katarn games. Okay, I'm gonna get crucified if I put these at D or C tier. I'm aware because I know that the following for the Jedi Knight games and for Kyle Katarn is massive. I know that he has a massive cult following. I had Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast on PC when I was like 13. Tried playing it. Did not enjoy it. But also, I was 13, and here's the thing. Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast was competing for my love with Knights of the Old Republic, which is right next to it. So I feel like Jedi Knight 2 didn't get the chance it deserved. So I'm torn between putting it at like C tier or putting it in the want to play section because I didn't give it a fair shake. But like the combat was just kind of wonky and it just wasn't doing it for me. So what I think I'm gonna do, because I don't want you guys to just absolutely hate me, is I'm gonna throw it into the want to play, and I'm gonna throw the rest of the Jedi Knight series into the want to play section because I haven't given it its fair due. All right, this is gonna be an unpopular opinion. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. This is the original one. This is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1. I'm going to put in B tier. Here's the thing, hear me out. Don't hit dislike yet. I mean, you can, that's fine. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 is great. The story of it is great. I love the D20 combat. It's great, but it did not age well. Like, you have to go through so many hoops to play it at 1080p. The game freezes after all combat, and you have to do a quick save and reload. There are just so many things that didn't age well about it that, like, it falls down to my ranking. Like, KOTOR 1, I probably won't ever play again. Like, I will probably never play like an entire playthrough of KOTOR 1 again. I've tried live streaming it, and it freezes. Like, you know, it locks up. It has that movement glitch after every single instance of combat. I'm just like super over having to quick save and quick load after all of the combat. And please don't, please don't go in the comments and say, turn on VSync, turn off shadows, turn off. Please don't. I have investigated every single fix that is out there on the interwebs for KOTOR 1 for the movement glitch. Not worked. I've tried the refresh rate thing. I've tried everything. KOTOR 1 goes down to B tier. KOTOR 2, on the other hand, is S tier. That's going to be an unpopular opinion as well, probably because a lot of people like KOTOR 1 more. I love KOTOR 2. One, because on Steam, it out of the box works at 1080p, works at 1440p, works for all resolutions. There isn't a movement glitch after combat. You have crafting. You have an influence component. I love how, like, dark the game is. I like how it's not like, oh, all happy fairy tales and moonbeams. Like, it's got like a really intense story behind it. I know it's unfinished. I know that a lot of stuff got left on the cutting room floor, but in general, I personally love KOTOR 2 substantially more, like at least one tier more than KOTOR 1. That's why, like a tier between them. Like, it's not like I don't love KOTOR 2 that much more than KOTOR 1. I love it that much more. So either that goes into A tier and KOTOR 2 goes into S+, which there is no S+, so KOTOR 1 goes into B tier. All right, the Lego games. Again, I'm gonna make the unfortunate assumption that like all of the Lego games are basically the same. I played this one. I played Star Wars Episode 2, the original trilogy on PSP, and it was fine. Like, it was okay, but like the Lego games just aren't my thing. They could be your thing. Again, I'm not saying it was bad. Like, I 100% of the game. Like, I had apparently enjoyed it enough to 100% it, but also, can I put it on the same level as KOTOR 1? I don't think so. So I'm gonna put all of the Star Wars Lego games at C tier. And if that is a mistake, let me know in the comments, but that's how I'm gonna rank them. Star Wars Starfighter. Now, that was a game I loved. I had that on PlayStation 2. I didn't actually own it. I rented it from the local, like, we didn't have a Blockbuster, but we had our, you know, small town equivalent of a Blockbuster. I rented this game so many times and played it on PS2, and I finished it. I loved everything about Star Wars Starfighter. I do not know that it is on KOTOR 2 level, but I loved Star Wars Starfighter. I'm going to put it at, I'm gonna temper my expectations because it was a PlayStation 2 game. I'm gonna put it on the same level as KOTOR 1, but it's like secretly in the B+ tier. Now we get to Star Wars Empire at War. These games might have been my most played Star Wars games of my entire childhood. If you're not familiar with Star Wars Empire at War, it is a real-time strategy game of Star Wars. It is basically Age of Empires, but Star Wars. It had such phenomenal mod support. Like, it was originally just for the original trilogy era. There were mods that you could play with Galactic Republic units. There were so many awesome things for this game. Star Wars Empire at War Forces of Corruption is easily going to go into S tier, A tier, whereas Empire at War is going to go into B tier. Forces of Corruption was just unequivocally better because it added in more units, it added in an extra faction, it added in better ships, it added in the flippin' Death Star 2. Like, there were just so many things that were added to make the game better than Empire at War. Like, it was an expansion, like it was DLC before DLC was really a thing, but like, and you had to pay, like it was a complete separate game. Like, you had to pay extra for it, but it was worth it. It was 100% worth it to get Forces of Corruption over Empire at War. The campaign was great. Like, you went through the Zans Consortium and you were a pirate, basically. Like, this was a phenomenal game. So I'm going to put Forces of Corruption at A tier, Empire at War at B tier. Republic Commando was phenomenal. Republic Commando goes A tier. I'm tempted to put it into S tier. I loved Republic Commando. I had it on PC when I was a kid, and I loved everything about it. The fact that we had another game with Raphael Sabarge or Carth Onasi was awesome. I think he played Scorch in Revolt Commando. It was just great. I don't remember a ton about the campaign. I remember Sun Fac was the enemy in the introductory mission. I don't remember a ton about it just because I haven't played it since I was a kid, but it was a phenomenal game. I remember they had online multiplayer, and I remember playing the crap out of the online multiplayer, and I was so bad at it, but it was so much fun. Republic Commando, I'm gonna put an A tier. All right, so Star Wars: The Old Republic. Here's the thing. You guys know that MMOs, at least as an adult, MMOs are not my thing. I played several MMOs when I was a kid. As an adult, I am an introvert. I don't like talking with people. I don't like interacting with strangers. Stranger danger is a thing, guys. So MMOs are not for me. That being said, Star Wars: The Old Republic has phenomenal graphics, phenomenal cinematics. The combat is, MMO combat. So I recognize, even though The Old Republic is not for me, I recognize it is a very good game. So I'm going to put Star Wars: The Old Republic at A tier, not S tier, sorry, A tier. Even though I recognize it's not my favorite game, I recognize it as a good game. Star Wars Renegade Squadron. So that was a Star Wars Battlefront game. I don't remember that it was exclusive for, but it was on the PSP. It was a PlayStation portable game. It was Star Wars Battlefront. It was not great. You had Star Wars Battlefront 2, and then Renegade Squadron came out, I think, 3 or 4 years after it on PSP. It was not great. I'm sorry. I'm gonna actually put it at D tier. It's definitely below all of these games. Like, I 100%ed Star Wars the Lego game. This game's got to go with D tier. It was not good. Star Wars Battlefront, like the original Battlefront, I didn't, and we're talking the original, like the DICE Battlefront, the original DICE Battlefront. That's gonna go, man. I feel like I have to put these in a hierarchy. Let's tackle all of the Battlefront games at the same time. Let's tackle them all with Battlefront 2, unquestioningly going into S tier. There is no question. Star Wars Battlefront 2 had a phenomenal campaign. Like, if you sit there and you play the campaign and you hear the introduction to the battle on Coruscant, where he's talking about nobody said a word as we march to the Jedi Temple. If you don't get goosebumps hearing that, like, there's something wrong with you. That campaign was phenomenal. Galactic Conquest was so good. And then there were so many, like, the space battles were awesome. Just everything about Star Wars Battlefront 2, it was perfect. It was the perfect game. I logged so many hours on PS2 playing Star Wars Battlefront 2. Easily goes into S tier. Star Wars Battlefront 1 left a little to be desired. Things it had going well for it is it had a lot more like fighters and things that you could fly around. It had a lot more vehicles. Whereas in Battlefront 2, for the most part, there were some exceptions, I think, but for the most part, if you wanted to fly, you had to be in a space battle. And if you wanted a vehicle in a land battle, you had to be in like a tank or a speeder or something. This had, like, I remember being on Bespin and you would like the cloud cars. And I remember being in Geonosis and you could go into the Spire and take over like the Geonosian fighters. Like, that was really, really cool. I remember the unkillable heroes. Like, that was just annoying as hell. Like, being on Bespin, and I remember just like I can't remember if it was Mace Windu or it was Luke Skywalker was one of them, and you just couldn't kill them. Like, they just reflected all of your bullets and you had to like toss grenades at them and blow them off the side of the map to kill them. It was infuriating. It was insane, but I loved it, but it wasn't as good as Battlefront 2. So that's going to go into A tier. Now we have Battlefront 2. Battlefront 2, as we all know, on release was garbage because it was loot box based. It was terrible. And then they actually made it good. Like, I enjoyed most of my time playing it. That being said, maybe it's because I wasn't a kid and like shooters aren't really my thing anymore, but I liked Battlefront 2, especially when they started adding the new game modes to it. I am going to put Battlefront 2 also at A tier because I feel like this was on par with the original Battlefront. I feel like this was on par. Also, original Star Wars Battlefront, the loading screen, the boop, 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 boop. Like, if that doesn't, again, if you hear that and that doesn't give you goosebumps, what is wrong with you? Like, that was phenomenal. The Galactic Conquest wasn't as good as Battlefront 2's though. And then we've got the original Star Wars Battlefront. Here's the thing, it wasn't my game. I didn't particularly love it. It wasn't really for me. I'm gonna put it, I feel bad. I'm gonna put it at C tier, just because like I preferred the other 3 Battlefront games a lot more. than the original Battlefront. And one of the biggest complaints, this was what I found interesting. I think among my friend group, one of the biggest complaints about Star Wars Battlefront 2 over Battlefront 1 was original Battlefront had a ton of weapons. Like, didn't you have like 30 weapons that you could pick? But like, nobody used any of them. Like, there were 4 good weapons and that was it. Like, no one used half of the weapons that were available to you. And everyone was mad when they made Battlefront 2 and they're like, oh, you have like 8 weapons now total, the end. And everyone's like, wow, where's all my weapons? Where's my customizations? Like, no one was using any of them. Like, they weren't good. They were just, they existed. So like that wasn't a thing that sold me in Battlefront 1. I don't know. I'm going to put it in the C tier. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. That is an S tier video game, my friends. If you did not play this on the original Xbox or on the PS2, that game was phenomenal. You played as Anakin or you played as Obi-Wan, and you played through the events of episode 3 with cutscenes from the movie. And it was so good. Like, the combat was great. It was fulfilling. The force powers were cool. Leveling up, getting to relive the battle at the end, the Battle of the Heroes on Mustafar was phenomenal. And once you beat the game, there was an alternate ending where Anakin killed Obi-Wan and killed the Emperor and became the leader of like the Empire. It was so cool. And there was like a Street Fighter multiplayer game mode that you could play with your friends where you could just duel, which is what I thought I was gonna get with Jedi Fallen Order. It was so good. I remember playing this game when I was a kid, and I was playing it with my then stepbrother, and I was playing as Old Ben. And Old Ben from episode 4 had his grapple was he would grab you and he would take his lightsaber and just boop you on the head with the pommel, and it knocked you down. And I had that move down to a science, and I sat there and I spammed it on him, and he got so mad that he told me if I hit him over the head with a lightsaber again, he was going to unplug my controller and throw it across the room. And then of course, I think I was like 10, I of course had to do it again to see if he would do it. And he got so pissed off that he unplugged my controller. I like held it away from him so he couldn't throw it. He tried to grab it out of my hand, and then he turned off my PlayStation and walked out of the room. He got so mad, which he was like 20, by the way. So like, let's calm down a little bit. Like, you were playing against a 10-year-old and losing, but it was so good. Episode 3 is an S tier video game. Star Wars Galaxies. Okay. You just heard me crap all over MMOs. You heard me say stranger danger and they're not for me. Here's the thing. When I was a kid though, Star Wars Galaxies was the MMO that predated Star Wars The Old Republic. I played so much Star Wars Galaxies, and to say I played so much Star Wars Galaxies is kind of true. Star Wars Galaxies was a monthly subscription-based game. There was no free-to-play aspect of Star Wars Galaxies. There was a 7-day free trial. It was either 7 or 14, I can't remember, but there was a 7-day free trial where you could play the game. Afterwards, you had to subscribe, and it was a $15 a month fee. My parents were not about to pay $15 a month for me to play that video game. So what I did was I made a new account, and I played for 7 days, and then my trial would expire, and I would make a new account and play for another 7 days, and it would expire, and I would make a new account, and I'd play it for another 7 days, and then I'd make a new account. I probably made 50 accounts for Star Wars Galaxies and just played it, and it end dated whenever they made Star Wars The Old Republic. You can still play it now. There are emulators for Star Wars Galaxies where people who love the game recreated Star Wars Galaxies. You can still play it. But Star Wars Galaxies, I don't remember if it was actually that good, but in my mind it was that good. It goes into S tier. Actually, that's a lie. It goes into A tier, and I'll explain why in a second. But I'm gonna put Star Wars Galaxies into A tier. Some of the reasons why I liked it, and potentially more, and in fact, it almost, I gotta put it in S tier because I liked it more than The Old Republic. No question about it. The things that I liked is Star Wars Galaxies had a player-based economy, meaning that every single item that you got in the game was either A, received from a quest, or B, crafted by another player. The entire economy in the game was player created and player driven. Every item had to be crafted very meticulously. You had to scour across the galaxy to get materials to make your items, and different materials had different like qualities that would make the item better. And then there was a randomness factor whenever you made it, and as you skilled up, like the randomness got smaller. But everything about it was so great. I enjoyed the campaign. I enjoyed almost just everything about Star Wars Galaxies. It was a phenomenal game. If you've never seen it before, if you don't know anything about it, go look up some gameplay on YouTube. Again, there are emulators for it. You can still play Star Wars Galaxies even though the servers are down. There are custom servers that are up. However, we have Star Wars Galaxies Jump to Light Speed. That would, again, it needs to go above Star Wars Galaxies, but I can't put Star Wars Galaxies on the same tier as Star Wars The Old Republic. Here's the thing. Star Wars Galaxies Jump to Light Speed added ships and ship combat into Star Wars Galaxies. And the ship combat in Jump to Light Speed was so much fun. Again, everything in the economy was player-based. You didn't go to an NPC and buy a ship. There were shipwrights that were real players in the game that built all of the starships that you got, and then you assembled it. There were different weapons, there were different parts. You could get astromech, and you could upgrade your ship. There was ship-to-ship combat. It was so much fun. The space combat was just, it was S+ tier. This was such a great game. So, Jump to Light Speed, easily S tier. Star Wars Squadrons. Star Wars Squadrons was really good. I think I'm gonna put it at B tier. I really enjoyed it, but I didn't end up playing it that much. Like, I think the problem was it was such a niche game that not a ton of people played it, and the people that did play it were really good at it. And it's kind of like if you go back and you can still play Star Wars Battlefront 2, like the original Star Wars Battlefront 2 online. And if you do, the people that still play Star Wars Battlefront 2 online, that's the only thing they play. And you're gonna get destroyed. I feel like that's kind of how it is with Star Wars Squadrons now. Is there's not like, it's either you're playing online you're either playing against the computer and just murking, or you're gonna get destroyed if you go into the online. But it was good. Like I loved the space combat. I loved the controlling the different systems and like having to power down your shields and power up your weapons or power down your engines. Like that was really fun. There were a lot of really great things about Star Wars Squadrons. It's really torn on if I want to put it A tier or B tier. I'm going to leave it in B tier for right now. Star Wars The Phantom Menace. I have not played this game. I've watched gameplay of it. It looks super clunky and super bad. I'm going to put it into D tier. It looks really bad. It was a PlayStation 1 game, I think. It just doesn't look good. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have anything else to say. It's not a good game. Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Okay. I had this on Nintendo Wii as a kid. I remember basically nothing about it. I mean, I played it. I 100% of the game. I beat the entire game. I loved it. But I don't remember anything about it. That being said, I remember liking it. Like, we're going off of pure instinct, pure no memory instinct on how we're ranking this one, because I don't remember it, but I remember liking it. I remember going downstairs and like booting it up and wanting to play it. I remember having a great time playing this game. So I'm going to put Force Unleashed at B tier, even though it might have been an A tier game. It very well could have been an A tier game. My gut, which is the only thing I can go on at this point, is saying to put it at B tier. If this is one you disagree with and you're like, no, man, that was an S tier game and you're just not remembering correctly, let me know. It goes on sale on Steam all the time. If it aged well, maybe I'll play it again and give it a try, because it's been a long time. We're talking like, what, 13 years? We're talking, it's probably been 13 years since I played this game. So there could be some misremembering on this. Okay, Star Wars Episode 1, Racer and Racer Revenge. I think out of these two, I've actually played Racer Revenge and not Racer, but I'm gonna rank them the same anyways. But I'm pretty sure I played Racer Revenge. Honestly, I had fun playing Racer Revenge. Like there's not a ton to it. It's just like a racing game. There's really not a lot going on there, but it was fun. Like I enjoyed playing it. Like I never unlocked Anakin. I think you can unlock Anakin speeder and you can unlock Sebulba speeder. And I think I unlocked Sebulba, but I never actually unlocked Anakin. I have this on PS5 because once again, this came with Battlefront 2 whenever I pre-ordered it. So I have played this and I've played it within the last like 5 or 6 years. But I'm trying to think of where we want to put it. And I'm going to put these on the same tier, even though I've not played this one. This one, you know what? We'll put that in haven't played. We'll put it into haven't played just because technically I haven't. I don't know if it's worse than Racer Revenge. Racer Revenge was fun. I'm going to put it into probably C tier. It's one that I enjoyed. I don't see myself going back and playing it ever again. Like I feel like if it's C tier and below, aka C tier or D tier, I'm probably never going to go back and play it. B tier and up, I might revisit once in a while to like play again. So I would say Racer Revenge can go into C tier. All right, guys, that's gonna do it. That is a complete, as complete as it can be. We've got a lot, in fact, a lot of games in the haven't played section. So that's the best that I can do for Star Wars video games rankings. Let me know down in the comments, one, if you agree or disagree with any of my rankings, which of these games, you know, did you grow up with, did you absolutely love? And two, if there are any games that I put in the I haven't played section, please let me know which ones need to be on my list to play next. Because like I said, if I haven't played them, I need to know which ones are good. Obviously, a lot of them are space-based games. You can tell that I enjoy the flight simulator games, but let me know down in the comments which ones that I should play. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and the notification bell so you get notifications to videos like this. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we will see you in a later video. Have a great day.